This is week 12 of the Classics 1 class, recording for Judy. Last week we got up to the 14-minute mark in the adaptation we're using. 2019, I think, is the year. And in the book, we've covered a few things. It kind of begins, well, because as it says in the table of contents, the first chapter is, I am born. David is a first-person narrator. The movie is interesting in its presentation, having the adult narrator here talking to us at the same time as we see, the events of his earlier life, as if he's visiting these in memory. And we meet Miss Betsy Trotwood, who is a relative, and she totally wants the baby to be a girl. Unfortunately for her, despite her protestations, it is a boy. David is the name of the boy. And she goes off in a huff, angry that Clara didn't produce a girl. Aside from David's mother, who is, of course, important, her name is Clara, as I just mentioned. We have another important character called Peggotty. Peggotty is an odd name. It's not her first name, but because her first name, like Mrs. Copperfield, is also named Clara, they decided to use Peggotty as her last name as a way to talk about her and talk, in fact, to her. There are sweet little scenes that the movie kind of goes over. The thing is here, we meet Mr. Murdstone, and we don't really know what to make of him. He seems very severe and kind of unfriendly, critical, and all that. In the book, it is clear they are to bring. Peggotty is supposed to take along with the wagon driver, who is Peggotty's brother. They're to take themselves to the coast, where the rest of the family also lives, to get him out of the way without telling David. His father, died before David was born. Mrs. Clara Copperfield is going to marry Mr. Murdstone, which is a pretty terrible idea, because he's a cruel and unreasonable man. Anyway, he spends a lovely period of time in a coastal town that I'm trying to remember. I think it might be Portsmouth. No, Yarmouth is the name of the town. A little off there, but at any rate, they visit this seaside town. We meet Ham, who is Peggotty's nephew, a good guy, and they go to the house where they're going to live for the period where David's away from home. It is made from an upside-down boat, and it's an unusual way to make a house, but this is what they do. You might think that it's comical to have the family living in a overturned, boat, but they don't make a real joke out of it. It's just the way things are. So they go over and they live there, and David meets, the family, also including an old, querulous lady named Mrs. Gummidge, who is always talking about dying and stuff. Real fun girl. And anyway, they spent some time there. Here's a photo of the family inside this upside down boat. David is quite young at this point. Anyway, the characters are friendly and fun without turning to comedy, really. The people in the house are loosely family, but like, for example, Mr. Peggotty, who is the leader of the family, said, had a question, because in the biblical story of Noah and the ark, which you might know, Noah, who called two of every animal, one male and one female, so that they could reproduce, brought them in the biblical times onto an ark, which just means a ship, and it's not important really. But anyway, Noah's son was given the name Ham, which may sound weird to us, but it's not a joke. It's biblical. Anyway, David asks Mr. Peggotty, did you give your son the name of Ham because you lived in a sort of ark? And it turns out that the father of Ham is Mr. Peggotty's brother, Joe, who, like many members of the family, have lost their lives in the sea, drowning, terrible. There's a little character, a character named Little Emily, which is short for Emily. Now, Little Emily is not Mr. Peggotty's daughter either. She is the daughter of Mr. Peggotty's brother-in-law, Tom. Mr. Peggotty is in fact unmarried. He wants to say he's a bachelor, meaning an unmarried man, but he says it strangely as bachelor, which is not quite the right word. Anyway, so he spends time, and it's a pleasant time. He makes friends with little Emily, who is not as young as you might think with a name like Little Emily. She's older than David is. Anyway, they become good friends. In fact, David reports, of course, he's just a little kid. He says, of course, I was in love with little Emily, but the love we experience as little children towards other people turns out a little different once they get older. Usually, I guess. So they have a nice time, and when they come back, they discover that Mr. Murdstone is there. Here he is. Here is the story where David gets back to the house and discovers, to his dismay, that now we're supposed to consider Mr. Murdstone, whose name certainly sounds very bad. I mean, it's the first syllable of murder. It's not supposed to be someone we like. it is a kind of a funny name, an unrealistic name. I don't think there's a single person on the earth with the real name Murdstone, unless they chose it themselves. Who would do that anyway? Mr. Murdstone is now David's, what do you call that? Stepfather, I guess? Anyway, let's see where we are in the story, and let me remember. I can't remember right now, and I can't really do that anyway. Okay, 14-minute mark, and I suppose I should shut off the recording for the time being because YouTube always flags my classes where I use a movie and won't let it be even viewed by anybody on YouTube, so it's kind of useless. So I'm waiting to see what happens here. I'll have to pause. Welcome. Okay, so excuse me a moment. You won't have the whole class because I can't.